On this special series edition of GRG, we present to you Datsun Heaven Australia. Come on the journey with us as we check out some of the best Datsuns on the East Coast, all the way from Brisbane to Adelaide and in between. Unlike Part 1 in Southern California, we'll be featuring more than just 510s. We are Grassroots Garage, and this is a Datsun Heaven series. On this episode of Grassroots Garage Datsun Heaven Australia, we're back in southwestern Sydney with Alex, and this time we're at Birrong Automotive. In part 1, Alex said he was ready to do some upgrades, and true to his word, he's led us into the workshop to check out the upgraded and absolutely stunning 16. It's a little bit distracting for Pete, with the R33 in the background sporting a new turbo location and so many GTR Skylines in for their Street Fighter package, which takes a customer's GTR and turns it into a bulletproof street weapon. But of course, that's not the distraction we're worried about. Alex's son rocked up in his ET Turbo, and Pete was immediately off his game. Come on mate, stay focused.
How good is this? Yeah. A sunny day. Perfect day. Out in the Nitto. What started off as just catching up with a mate and doing a bit of an update on the car, which is just looking absolutely fantastic, has now turned into a much larger story. It's pretty clear in this footage that Alex and I are just catching up, having a great time, doing a bit of a workshop tour. Within 48 hours of filming this, the workshop was well alight.
85 in the red, in the red, in the red.
Mechanics workshop in Sydney's West has gone up in flames. 10 fire trucks were called to the Sefton warehouse just after 2 o'clock this morning.
As vehicles inside the building caught alight, the flames intensified, threatening to spread to neighbouring properties. The fire is being treated as suspicious.
They lost absolutely everything inside. It's an absolute tragedy. It's hit Alex really hard. The whole automotive community's rallied behind Alex, and we intend to follow as he rebuilds. Good news is he's got a new space already. And Alex has agreed to sit down with us and talk about where to from here. In the meantime, enjoy what will be quite a series as we follow Alex through. Part 1 is his Datsun, and from there we'll continue on with the story. Welcome to Grassroots Garage. We have a celebrity guest today. It's Alex from Birrong Automotive. Alex, thanks for your time, man.
My pleasure, mate.
Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to have you back.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Tell us about your car.
Oh, it's only taken a year since the last time you guys came here. And to be honest, you've G'd me up. Like, I didn't want to take the car off the road at all, you know, because I love driving this car. It didn't matter whether it had like 150 horsepower or, you know, 430 horsepower like it's got now on the running tune. Like, it just, just didn't want to pull the car off. Like, the whole family enjoys it, you know. My wife and I enjoy it so much. Like, I can drive this to Newtown, go get a pizza, get an ice cream, come home, and I park it anywhere on the street, and people they really appreciate the car, you know. And it's a crowd pleaser, and it puts a smile on people's faces, and it's a really good feeling to have when you got a car that does that to other people as well, you know. It's important to me. I feel like I'm giving, I don't know, people really appreciate it, you know, and it's a good feeling to get back from someone else.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Welcome back, boys and girls. Version 2 of our Datsun 1600, 016, which is a fully built SR20 standard stroke. Kelford camshafts, Kelford valve springs and titanium retainers in it. Then we've got Supertech intake and exhaust valves, 1mm oversize. Then it goes down to the Nitto rotating assembly, which is like obviously your rods and pistons in the car, with a brand new Nitto billet oil pump that we're the first ones to ever use and test. So, and that's working amazingly right now, which is really good. And then we've got Hypertune intake and exhaust manifolds, Hypertune radiator, intercooler, Turbo Smart, everything. So Turbo Smart 45mm wastegate, race port oil valve, PRP, Platinum Racing coil pack, along with their beautiful oil cap.
It really stands out.
It's hot, isn't it? Obviously Turbo Smart fuel pressure rig again. ID 1700 cc injectors, Emtron ECU KV8, wiring harness done by Justin at ProWire. We have changed everything on this car apart from the gearbox. It's got a factory stock S14 gearbox or S13 gearbox.
Yeah.
So that's going to have a funeral one day, I'm sure. The only thing that I haven't done in this car is sleeve the block.
Okay.
And I don't want to. I want to try and make 700 horsepower at the wheels with an unsleeved block. Let's see how we go. See what happens.
So what's it running at the moment?
As in power?
Yeah.
It only makes 430 horsepower at the moment on pump fuel, so 98. And I haven't done the flex tune yet because I'm just running the engine in. I'm just checking a few things. I'm making sure everything's working the way it needs to be. I don't want to rush into it. But once I'm happy with the 98 tune up in the car, I'll feed it some boost and it'll get some E85 in it.
I love that.
Yeah. So we'll probably do a part 3 on a power run on the hub dyno.
I do this every time and I can't. There's things missing. What's missing from the engine bay? Like it seems like too empty. What am I like missing?
The fuse box.
Fuse box.
Yeah, that's gone. That's under the dash.
Yeah.
If I could have moved the wiper motor, I would have.
Yeah.
To be honest, we could have put the harness a little bit further away behind the engine, but it was just a little bit hard to get to make it a bit more serviceable. So this is a little bit easier if we need to pull the engine out.
It's just got that wow factor.
Yeah, I tried to make it look like you just got an engine, pretty much. I just wanted you to see engine. I don't want to see all that other stuff. That's why we integrated the intercooler and the radiator all entwined together. We didn't want to cut the front of the apron out. You know, I've got for myself, it's my own personal taste, and I just wanted everything behind the supersonic grille, and I just wanted to look like a really nice little car with some rims on it from a distance.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you start it, it sounds a little bit, doesn't sound like that, does it?
Fat exhaust here too.
Yeah. Hacks did the whole exhaust from Performance Exhaust Centre in Northmead.
Yeah.
Hakan's a top bloke. He's a Datsun guy too. Everyone knows who he is. It's got a 3.5-inch exhaust all the way to probably the back section just before the cradle, and then it blends into a 3-inch. And I've got an AES valve tucked under the rear passenger door. Yeah.
Hold on, stay on that side for a second.
So interior hasn't changed apart from two little items, which is obviously the Motec C1212 dash that we got custom made into the factory dash.
Doesn't it look good too?
Yeah.
Look at that.
And it shows me everything that I need from air temp to AFRs to engine temp to battery voltage. We've got boost pressure, we've got ethanol content, fuel pressure, engine oil pressure, and obviously the fuel tank for the gauge, which is all sorted through the Emtron KV8. It's got an Emtron KV8, Emtron keypad. I haven't put the stickers on it yet, so only 2 of them are working at the moment. I've got boost control on one of them, and I've got the valve, the AES valve, on the other. Yeah.
How much boost you got through it?
Now, 19 pounds.
19.
Yeah.
Nice and safe.
Yeah. It starts at 15, and I add as I'm going. I feed a little bit more into it, but yeah, nothing. I don't want to run too much more boost on pump fuel. I never do. I don't go over 20 pounds of boost on pump fuel ever on any car. I just don't want to do it. There's no point. But when it gets E85, it's going to cop it.
Nice. Things that it's the weirdest things that sort of get my attention, and it's the
tail lights.
Yeah, the tail lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They cost me like one arm.
Oh,
You know,
really?
yeah, pretty much. And I just attached this back on. You know what I mean?
Look at that.
So we got Drago at Sefton Smash Repairs to paint the boot, the engine bay, and all the door jambs.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the original plan was to have the car running, get it where it needed to be, and then pull the doors off, pull the interior out, have the car running, drop it off to Drago so you can do the outside. But I just can't pull the car off the road anymore. I won't do it. And you know what? I'm happy with the way the car looks. I love the way the car looks, and I love that it's nice inside, and it's got a little bit of, you know, old.
Bit rough and ready.
Bit
right?
rough and ready. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But I think, like, showing how little rust the car's got, it adds to it. Saying like, look at this boot.
Yeah, this is
Like,
this is a really cool. This was a cool platform to start off with. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was already painted by somebody else. There's two different types of tones in it, which gives it that little bit more character. But I don't care.
Nah, I love it.
I love it.
How good is this?
Yeah.
A sunny day
Perfect.
out in the Datsun.
So yeah, this is it, man. Nice stereo. The dash. Mark Axia and his suspension. He's got it down pat.
Shout out to Mark Axia. I might have been pissed at Todd's funeral. I was talking him up to himself. Going, mate, every other Datsun I do, it's all Mark Axia this, Mark Axia that. We love you, Mark.
3.7 diff gears,
Yep.
which is perfect for the street and for cruising.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 4.1s are a little bit aggressive, especially when you got a bit of power. Like it just turns the tires a lot easier, and I don't want that. You know what I mean? If I can stretch out third gear, you know, without bombing the tires too hard, that's what I wanted. You know, so I think 3.7s is a really good gear set. Not easy to find either. You know, NPC clutch, single plate clutch with a billet flywheel. And the car reacts, starts, stops, idles, does everything it needs to do. Brakes.
Perfect, man.
So, no lag. You know what I mean? Like,
Not at all, huh?
nah, it's just so good. That G30 770 for a 2 litre on these. Obviously, you got to have a supporting engine to carry on and do what you got to do with what we're doing. But yeah, I even went that far to CNC port this head.
Oh, wow. How good is it? You can hear it spooling hard, eh?
Yeah.
Loves it.
It doesn't overheat. It's got a Nismo thermostat in it, so we run the engine a little bit cooler than the factory settings.
Yep.
And everything just works.
Magic.
You know? Oh, look at the oil pressure.
Yep.
Look at that.
Thanks.
See the way that Nitto oil pump reacts is it's amazing. You're always seeing 100, you know, as a minimum, like through the RPM. And the harder I rev it, obviously it goes to like 120 psi.
Beautiful.
Which is really, really good. It's what I wanted anyway.
Yep.
Oil pressure's your friend.
Yep.
It doesn't stall, doesn't carry on. It's got a Sealtech 2-wire idle control motor in it. Supplied by the boys from BRP. turbos from PRP. Their catalogue is amazing. They've got everything there, and you know what, to be honest, they've got a lot of it on the shelf ready to go, which is a bonus for us, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big bonus. We'll go over the bumps. It's a pretty bumpy road. So the usual rattles that a Datsun has, but it's not that bad.
No, it's fine. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, there's always going to be, like, the door hardware's always got a little bit of a bounce to it, but that's, you know, you wouldn't want it any other way, mate. Sitting low, rattling around, big smile on your face, you know, like a big smile on my face, you know, like, yeah. Do you, let's go way back to the start. Do you have, like, any memories of what got you into Datsuns to begin with?
Jeff Shoesmith. That's a name. Man, I was an apprentice. I was a first year apprentice at Parramatta Nissan. It's where I first started my apprenticeship. And we'd go to TAFE once a week, like the boys do now anyway. And after TAFE, we'd just go to someone's house and say, there's a new Fast Wars and Videos VHS cassette, you know? That's right. Let's go watch it. You know, and then I saw his car, and I'm like, I'm seeing all the other cars on there, but the Datto just got me from the get-go.
They don't get any better than this example. Audio engineer Jeff Shoesmith spent 2.5 years building this car, and it shows. It's a quality package that's not too extreme in any one area other than performance. And there's no shortage of performance.
And ever since that, I wanted one, and I've gone through a few of them. And back in the day, when you're like 17 years old and you're on $180 a week, you know, it's all like whatever Datsun I had was whatever I could afford at the time. Yeah. You know, I had one with cut springs and like just a stock motor in it. We took the air filter off to try and make some noise out of it. Didn't want to go anywhere. We welded the diff up, locked the diff up, trying to do donuts, and it'd be like, "Burr," it'd bog, you know. But yeah, I think I was in my third year when I bought an orange Datsun 1600 with a FJ20 in it, and I think Fast and the Furious came out for the first time. Yeah, and they had the video, they had the screening at like Wetherill Park Hoyts or something, and I had the car parked there, and you just got pumped, you know, like it was on 15 pounds of boost, and that was like huge back in the day, you know, like, and the car was fast. Probably nowhere near as what this is right now, but it was like super fast, yeah.
The car you've owned over the years?
Yeah, I was 23 at the time. I had a BMW M3 at the age of like 21, 22, an E36. It was Dakar yellow. It was hot. I went from having a Datsun to going into the Euro for a little bit, which in hindsight, I regret now. You know, like I wish I never had that car. I wish I never owned that car. As much as I love them now, and I loved it back then, in hindsight, I just feel like I was too young to own a car like that. You know what I mean? And
is this still the straight six era?
Straight six era, yeah.
I can see it's the same shaped car, right? They're like
that boxy car, you know. And way before that, I had an ET turbo that you're probably going to see now. My sons are on their school holidays.
Get them in.
And I told them, I go,
it's going to be 4 episodes. Let's go.
I told them, I said, you need to bring the car in to service it. You know what I mean? I go, you want to drive it? Come in, use my hoist, service the car, learn how to do these things so you're aware of what's going on around the car, because I can't be there all the time for them, you know. So they're probably on their way now, to be honest. That was on my P's. So,
and it's a very sad indictment on me that I'm so excited. I'm surrounded by 10,000 horsepower. I'm like, yeah, the ET turbo's coming. Anyway,
I know, right? and the ET turbo only makes 100 kilowatts. You know. Yeah. So I had the M3. Then I went to that actually got stolen from my house in my garage, and I never found that car, which was pretty sad. And it still leaves a sour taste in my mouth to this day about that stuff, you know, because I'm not for any of that stuff. I hate it. I can't stand it. But I bought a Datsun. I said to my girlfriend at the time, maybe she was my fiance, Sasha. I go, I'm buying another Datsun. I go, I got to have a Datto, you know. And then I heard of a guy selling a Datsun 1200 Ute, in just like in the local area, and I paid 20 grand for the Ute back then, right? And we're talking like, I've been married 21 years, so 23 years, 24 years ago, I paid 20 grand for that Ute. And like, it was expensive back then to buy a car, a Datto with an SR20 in it. You know, and what was it? I think I had it engineered as well. It was engineered, everything. But anyway.
Is that Ute?
Yeah, it's that Ute. That's the Ute, right?
Yeah.
So that had a stock S13 engine like this. And we put I had worked at C&V Performance. That's where I pretty much finished my trade and ended up being where I am now. Like from them, I transitioned into opening up my own shop. And we ran, it was the first time I ever raced a car down Eastern Creek, and you know, the boys at Con and Vic at C&V like going, all right, you know, you need to do this and you need to do that, and this is how you do it. Just stay calm, you know, make sure you're looking at everything and you're aware of everything. They actually got me into a routine of, you know, being aware of all the stuff that I need to know, you know, which is pretty cool. We ran had a stock ECU, and then I ran a wet nitrous kit in it with like the smallest of shots. All right, I had a copper head gasket on it with some head studs, and it ran 10.9, 125 mile an hour back then, you know, with a stock S13 turbo on like whatever the wastegate could cop at that time, which was probably, I don't know, like 18 pounds or something, you know. And we had a bit of race fuel mix in it, and it's like C16 back then. There was no E85. There was none of that stuff, you know. So it was C16 and a bit of mix, and let's go have a hit. And it ran 10.9 at 125 mile an hour. Couldn't believe it. And then I sold it because I opened the business, Birrong, and, you know, young, no money, busted ass, trying to make something of yourself back then. And, you know, here we are today. We're building Datsuns and we're building GTRs, and, you know, I've got a fast Skyline, or had a fast Skyline that's coming back out, you know, real soon. Yeah, and this is where we're at.
I love that.
Yeah.
So this car, would you, if I gave you, you know, all the money in the world, and I said, you know, you can play, you've got free time, would you change anything on the car?
No, not at all.
No.
I love the car. I've been offered like stupid amounts of money for this car privately, and I won't sell it either. You know what I mean? I'm not even interested. It doesn't matter how much money you got in the world. You got to build it to what you like and how you like it. You know, not to anyone else's specifications to make them happy. You know, you make yourself happy, and this makes me and my family really happy.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like you think about, you know, 17-year-old Alex watching Fast Fours and Rotaries videos, and you go, mate, you know, in
Jeff Shoesmith.
Jeff Shoesmith, hello Jeff. and in 20 years you're gonna have your dream car. You know, it's a real, it gives me goosebumps to think that, you know, we're all building these cars, and I dream that, you know, in another 20 years when we're all retired, kids are going, man, I watch this random little YouTube show and you know, they pump me up, and now I've got my dream car, you know. I would love that.
Look, I've driven every car almost. Like you could, like even supercars like Lambos, SVJs, Porsches, GT2s, GT3s. I've driven a Ferrari. I've driven all these cars. I've driven a McLaren 720, 600 LT. We did a 600 LT. We did tune and downpipes on one here, right?
Yeah.
But every time I want to go back to a car, I'm going back to this. You know, I'm not interested. Like, I love those cars, and they're beautiful to look at, and they're beautiful to take for a spin and give the key back to the owner and say, thanks, man.
Yeah.
It's not even about the price tag. I don't care about that, right? The enjoyment that I get out of this car, I can't explain any more than what I'm telling you right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it just does it for me.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I'm with you.
I've got a Supra now. Like I've got a 94 Supra. It makes 1,120 horsepower only, right? And I haven't touched it in 4 weeks because my baby's back. You know, so I love that car, don't get me wrong. And that car, when that car comes out, because you don't see them that often, and you don't see them in that type of I don't know, the setup, the way that car is and the way it looks. You're always getting a positive feedback from that car, from the younger generation, you know, like the guys that are, you know, now in their teens or early 20s, they're looking at that car going, you know, and that kid's going to be sitting down here one day with his Supra.
Yeah. I always wanted one, now I've got one, 100%.
Yeah. But this, I'm always going back to this no matter what.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what's next for the car?
What's next for the car is it needs E85. So we've got our 98 platform pretty much where it needs to be. And on the road, we've just been touching up a few bits and pieces because there's some things that you can't get on the dyno. So you're going on the road and you're just touching up here and there or whatever. And I feel like I've got it. I'm really happy with where it is right now. So probably another couple more fuel tanks and then it's going to get E85 and then we'll just do increments. So I'll do 5 pound increments. So I'll start from 20 on E85, then I'll go to 25, then I'll go to 30, and then I'll go to 35, and I'll see where it's at. I think 35 PSI out of that turbo, which is a G3770, is going to make some steam, some real nice responsive steam. Like this, people think that the G3770 is, it's too big for an SR20, but I've done G550s, 25 550s, the 660s or 650s or whatever they are, and now to this. And I convinced one of my customers in his S15 to put one of these on. And what I saw, the response that I saw from the engine and the turbo together combined was amazing, you know.
Say you're rolling on in second gear from 2000 RPM, when is it really starting to spool up?
It's already starting to spool up. You'll hear it. Yeah, and then when it's like at 3,500, it's all on, baby.
Wow. Yeah, I love that.
It's all on. Yeah, it's sick. Like 3,500, 4,000 RPM.
It's all noisy.
Yeah, you know about it. You know, the gate cracks. You know, you're not hearing the turbo spin anymore because only on 19 pounds of boost. But yeah, it's
I love that.
It's sick, man. It's sick. Yeah.
So that's it for this episode with Alex. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Anytime. I'm
Done.
sure I'm going to see you again.
Yeah, that's it. Legend. Yeah.
We are honoured to bring you this episode, and a massive thanks to Alex for giving up his time to show us around the workshop. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next one.